guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna. I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're gonna do a quick little product update video of just some things I've been trying out. And this is kind of where I include those dud products and all the other stuff, the meh products, a little bit of everything that I've just been testing out over the past couple of months or so. And yeah, we just sit down, chit chat about it, and it's just a rapid review, go through it type of thing. These differ from my Only Things I Love videos because these are the things that didn't quite always make the cut into Only Things I Love, but some of them did. Anyways, it's just a product update video. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump on in, and we're going to start off with skincare. And the first skincare item I want to talk about is from Paula's Choice. This is the niacinamide 20% treatment. And this is a pretty nice little niacinamide treatment. It's pretty high dose at 20%. And yeah, I think niacinamide's a good product. When I first started incorporating this, my skin has slight, kind of, a little bit of a breakout, but I'm not sure if it was this necessarily. It might have just been suspicious timing of jumping in with this product too. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've been using it for about 4 months now, every morning with my daytime skincare, and Paula's Choice did send this over to me. Now I'll say that I don't think this is an item that I would run out and purchase. I don't think it did anything miraculous to my skin, but it's a nice product that I've been incorporating. But I don't think it's a game-changing skincare item, but it is nice. I have some skincare items that I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes, I will repurchase at whatever price point good. This is just, it's an okay serum, and it's just been a nice kind of added thing to throw in. I think my skin's been happy past that first couple of weeks of using it, because I did have some breakouts, but I was also using a primer that I think was expired. So I'm not sure which the culprit was. I threw the primer out and my skin did clear up. I may have just made an adjustment to this because I have heard recently some people mentioning that niacinamide has broke their skin out, but I have been using it since and haven't had any breakouts. So it's obviously doing something good for my skin. I just don't think I can pinpoint a miracle thing to this one item. But again, it's been a nice little something to incorporate into the skincare routine. Next thing is something that I do love and would repurchase, and that is the Lord Jones Acid Mantle Repair. This is such a nice product. I think I did mention this in a favorites. I'm pretty sure I did. It talked about how much I loved it for my skin during the winter months, how it helped with my kind of chapped, dry kind of winter skin, or if I used too many actives, it just really helped kind of comfort and nourish the skin. It's a really, really good moisturizer. I really enjoy this. It does have the 250 milligrams CBD in it, and I found it just to be a very soothing, lovely product. I'm enjoying it. I think the whole aesthetic, the packaging, everything about it is great. And yeah, it's a good item. If you're looking for a really reparative moisturizer that is just comforting and soothing on the skin, I think the Lord Jones Acid Mantle Repair is a really nice one to look at. I'm someone who does use a lot of actives and have experienced some irritation, you know, my jawline and stuff, and especially in the winter months, I get very itchy and dry, and this just really quite helped out with that. Moving on to some makeup items, I have a little handful here. First up is the NYX Brow Mascaras. These are the Thick It Stick It Brow Mascara. I have fell in love with these. These are awesome. I think they're great. They thicken up my brows. They give it a little bit of color, a little bit of a fill. I switch between 2 shades depending on if I've tinted my brows, if my roots are showing or not. So lately I've going for more of the brunette shade over the black shade, but they're great. Just clean your wand off before you go in and you'll have a good time. If you don't clean your wand off, it'll get a little messy on you. These do take a little bit of getting used to when you use them, because they are kind of a lot when you first buy them. A lot of product comes out on the spoolie. Definitely clean that little buddy off and then you're good to go. They have little fibers in there. Definitely thicken up the brows, and they hold them in place really well. They kind of have that waxiness to them. And I think they're quite nice, and I would definitely repurchase these. Enjoying it. Moving on to some complexion items. I have been testing for a while now and reviewed the Age Perfect range from L'Oreal, and I just want to kind of update you guys on how I'm feeling about things since those reviews. Even though those were pretty thorough reviews, I had been testing the products before then. I just thought I'd go ahead and give you an update on how I've been using them and incorporating them into my day-to-day life. First, let's talk about this 4-in-1 balm here. This is, again, like I agree with what I said in my review, this isn't a long wearing item necessarily. It's a very lightweight, dewy looking foundation. It's not gonna last you all day. It's definitely not long wear, but it has really lovely coverage and it just looks so pretty on the skin. And I like to use this on days that I know I'm not gonna be running around a lot out in the hot heat and it's gonna break down. I like to use this on filming days a lot when I'm sitting here on camera because it does look really pretty on camera when I'm talking to you guys. It's just a pretty like kind of everyday product. But if you're needing longevity, this isn't the one I would go for, but it is beautiful. It kind of makes the skin look very airbrushed and nice. It just breaks down a little bit sooner on me than my other foundations do and gets a little bit extra dewy on me. But that being said, it's nice. It's nothing like the Good Apple foundation balm. This is much more almost like a cooling moussey texture. It's not necessarily something I would refer to as balmy, but I think it's a pretty product and worth checking out if you have, especially if you have dry, more mature skin. I think you would really enjoy this one. On my combo skin, it can be a little hit or miss, but I do enjoy the way it looks for a few hours. It's just when it gets to about evening time, afternoon, about mid-afternoon, it starts to kind of look very, very glowy and not in the best way, if you know what I mean. But it does touch up well with a touch-up powder. Another product that Age Perfect has is their creamy powder foundation. This product threw me for a loop. It confused me. First time I tried to use it, I used it over the balm. That was an absolute disaster. Oh my goodness, if you want to be completely just look like it dipped your head into a bucket of chicken oily, that's the way to do it. This does not take down shine. This is not a setting powder, and it's not necessarily a very high coverage foundation either. But if you are looking for a powder foundation and you have dry skin and more mature skin, I also think would benefit from this. This would be a good one to look at because it is creamy. I've never seen a powder be so creamy on the skin, and I do use this quite often on the perimeter of my face where I don't want it matte, but sometimes I just want a little bit of setting. Sometimes I just need a little extra coverage. It's been something I've reached for just for that. I dust it around the outer perimeter. I think if you go in with the sponge here, it's not the best method to me. I feel like it kind of can over apply it and can look a bit heavy on the face. Also, you're not going to get much longevity out of this one either. This is much more geared towards drier skin types, more dry than me for sure. I have very combo skin. I can be oily, I can be dry, it goes in between. We have a complicated relationship. Same with the balm, but I still use them because there's something really pretty about them at the same time. And I don't mind my foundation and makeup wearing off or not lasting a crazy amount of time if I'm just sitting at home filming and being around the house. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I would prefer the longevity. Now, for one thing from the Age Perfect range that I think is beautiful and does have a bit more longevity is the Radiant Serum Foundation. I've reviewed this, I think, a year ago, and I just want to kind of update on it because I'm talking about the range. This is still my favorite from the range. It is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. It has medium coverage. It can be sheared out to be light. It's buildable. It has the SPF 50 in it. It's beautiful. It's what I'm wearing today. Every time I wear this, I'm like, it's a good skin day. It's such a pretty product, very similar to the IT Cosmetics type of, like the CC Nude Glow, Wet n Wild Tint Hydrator. There's a lot of products like this on the market, but I found this one to be one I'm pretty partial to. This one in like the number 7, Protect and Perfect, I think is a beautiful one. CC Nude Glow from IT Cosmetics. These types of foundations are where I'm my sweet spot because I can get the coverage from them, and it has skincare benefits. They look juicy and healthy on the skin, but they're not overly dewy, and you can set them down nicely with some powder. And it plays well with all the products that I've used. I haven't had to find a way to work with this one, whereas the powder foundation and the balm, I've kind of had to experiment and find a way that they work for me. Also from the range is the Age Perfect Blurring Primer. The Age Perfect Blurring Face Primer. This is a really good primer. I really enjoy this one. It gives you that silky, perfected, filtered look. It reminds me a lot of the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base, but a little bit thinner and in a nicer, easier to access component. You don't have to stick your finger in it. That it gives you that beautiful soft focus look to the skin where it kind of fills in your pores, perfects everything. It is a wonderful companion to any of the Age Perfect foundations and any other foundation that you like. It's really nice, and it doesn't mattify your skin too much. It doesn't dry you out. It's just a really, really good primer, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it. And I believe it also does have some skincare in it. Yeah, it's infused with a caring serum. All the items do have some sort of skincare infused within, but they're not real clear on what exactly that skincare is. Most of it's glycerin, from what I read in the ingredient deck. Glycerin and some sunscreen. And then lastly, from the Age Perfect range is the concealer. Love the concealer. Raved about it for a while. And yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful concealer to me. It wears really, really well. Sits nicely on my skin. I would definitely think it's great for people with drier skin types as well as kind of combo skin. As long as your under eyes aren't like super duper oily, this is a good one. I don't see it settle in any of, I don't see it settle into any of my fine lines. It just kind of floats across the top. Looks beautiful. Looks skin-like. All these products are very skin-like. And yeah, it's a great concealer. And definitely one I've repurchased. Actually, I have repurchased it. I have it in 2 shades and the serum foundation in 2 shades because I love them that much. And would definitely repurchase the primer. The balm and the powder foundation, I don't see myself repurchasing them, but I'm going to use them while I have them and, you know, get my money's worth. But they're not my favorites from the range. Okay, and next is the CC Camo Powder Foundation. I reviewed this a while back and tested it out and kind of have worn it here and there. I think maybe if I get a deeper shade, I might enjoy it more. But I found this to be a bit heavy, in my personal opinion. But then everyone that I saw that day that I was wear testing this talked about how pretty my skin looked and how like flawless it looked. And yeah, it did. It looked poreless. It looked perfected. But it's very full coverage, and I do not like applying it with the included applicator. I feel like it's just way too much comes off. But yeah, I'm thinking of picking this up in a deeper shade because this shade I think is just too light for me. Shocker, I know. What a shade too light for me. But I have fair 120 neutral. And in the wintertime, this is probably one I think I could get away with. But like right now, I have a little bit of color to my skin and I've been doing self-tanner. And it's just, it's ghostly. And if you have dry skin, I don't think you'll enjoy it very much. It has a bit of a heaviness to it. It has a very makeup look. Like, it's not skin-like or anything like that. You know, it looks like a powder foundation, but it is pretty at the same time. It does look very perfect. It's a little bit more full glam, I think, and it can work really nicely as a touch-up powder. I just prefer it with a brush over using the little sponge applicator. Occasionally I have used like a beauty blender just to kind of touch up throughout the day, and it does work really well as a touch-up powder, especially if you may have lost coverage somewhere and need to add it back. This is a good one, but I don't think this is holy grail status for me. But then again, I don't think I'm a powder foundation girl. That might just be part of it. I like liquid foundation and then to set with powder. Definitely not a bad product, and I think I stick by my review on it. That was really, like, that's one of the few times that people have just, like, said my skin looked flawless. Because I'm not big on, like, full coverage, and I don't care if, like, stuff shows through. But I think they also noticed that it was makeup at the same time. You know what I mean? But it definitely did obliterate pores. Like, it was just smooth. So if you have textured, like, pores, like if you have big pores and have a lot that you kind of want filled looking, this might be a good one for you. And I think if you are a little bit oilier, you'd probably like this one. It did hold up really well on me. Like, I mean, it lasted a good while. So it's got nice longevity, easy to touch up, easy to throw in your handbag. Okay, and moving on to some bronzers, or a bronzer. The number 7 bronzer here. This is in the shade Golden Sand. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous bronzer right here. It is lovely for fair skin. You can sheer it out and apply it lightly. It can be built up a little bit. It is very comparable to Charlotte Tilbury's powder bronzers. It has a beautiful kind of design within it, like embossing, lovely, compact, all around a good bronzer. Very delicate on the skin. It doesn't look powdery. It doesn't look obvious. It just gives you a gorgeous warm glow, and definitely something I would recommend for number 7 is this bronzer. It's beautiful, beautiful product, and the tone of it is just right. Like, it has a nice neutralness to it. It's really good when I don't have self-tan on, and when I do, I can build it up. It's all around a good bronzer if you are on the ghostly end of the spectrum like me. And a highlighter I have been reaching for quite a bit is the Juvia's Place Ice Loose Highlighter. This has been out, I think, quite some time, and this one's been really pretty. Like, it's definitely a very, very full-on glowy highlighter, like most loose highlighters are, but I find that you can do it with a loose brush and kind of tap it off and get a really nice kind of glaze on the cheeks, and it's very pretty. I like the tone of this. I was anticipating it to be a little bit too deep on me, but it actually is kind of perfect. I like the champagne tone that's in it and the goldy tone it has. Like, it's still got a little bit of warmth in it, even though it is called Ice and it's their lightest shade. It's a really pretty highlighter, and yeah, I've used it quite a bit. I do think if you apply it kind of full on, it's going to emphasize texture because it's just that type of highlighter. It's got that metallicness to it, but with a lighter hand, it is beautiful. Just grazed across the cheekbones. It looks pretty on the eyelid. It's a lovely, lovely little highlighter. So I wanted to go ahead and update you on that because I have been using it quite a bit. And also from Juvia's Place, I do have 2 palettes that I have really, really liked. The first one is the Mauves palette from Juvia's. I think I did a video, first impressions, with this one a while back and created a really, really pretty look with this shade right here. I think I used all the shades in the palette except for this one. But yeah, they blended beautifully. The pigmentation was beautiful. The shades, so lovely. Like, I love these 2 shades right here. I think they're gorgeous. Really pretty, fun, kind of springy purple palette. And yeah, the quality is fantastic on this one, and the price point isn't bad. I also have one of the larger palettes. This is the Nubian 2. I love this one. Like, look at these colors. These are colors that I love right here. I also did a video with this one and kind of wear tested it, and it came out very fall looking, but it's a very fall looking palette to me, but it's a really pretty color story. I love these kind of murky tones, and then this pop of blue and the green. I also like the Egyptian theme we got going on here. It's just all around a beautiful palette, beautiful quality. You get huge pans. Yeah, I don't think you would be disappointed with this one if this color story speaks to you. I've enjoyed it, and I think the price point on Juvia's Place is really, really fair. The artwork is gorgeous. I don't know who does their artwork, but they knock it out of the park. Lovely, lovely designs on the palettes. And yeah, I would definitely be open to more Juvia's Place palettes because I really did enjoy the quality. Very easy to work with, easy to blend, good stuff. Okay, and a couple of lip items. I was sent a lip liner and lipstick from Anastasia Beverly Hills. They reformulated their lipsticks a while back and their lip liners, and they sent over the shade, well, I picked the shade Toffee for the matte lipstick and the shade Cool Brown for the liner. So let's talk about this liner really quick, because I have found myself really enjoying it. While I don't think it's very cool brown, it's kind of warm on me. Even though in swatch it looks kind of cool. I don't know why. It goes on my lips, it does pull a bit warmer, but it's a really, really lovely brown lip liner. Like, it's kind of that perfect brown lip liner, you know? You get the 90s lip with it, but what I really love is that it's square. Just that right there, a square shape, because it doesn't roll everywhere. It's very nice. I think more brands need to bring out square pencils just for that reason alone. They don't fall off your table. I think that's great if you're a pro makeup artist. It's very thoughtful, and it's also kind of ergonomic and easy to hold. And yeah, I think it's a really, really good formula lip liner. It reminds me a lot of the MAC lip liners, which is my favorite formula in lip liner. So yeah, I think ABH did good on these. And I would not be mad at having more shades. And as far as the matte lipstick, it's a beautiful matte lipstick. It is very nice. The packaging, lovely. I like the little vibe here. It's rose gold. It's got a nice kind of texture to it and weight to it. It feels high end. And the shade right here is so pretty. It's just a gorgeous 90s kind of chestnut brown lip, and it wears really well. It's comfortable. It's not drying. It's just a nice matte lipstick. It's nothing super like innovative or crazy different than what isn't already on the market, but Toffee is a nice shade, and I think it's a nice formula if you were interested in them. I don't think you would be disappointed if you enjoy matte lipsticks, but I also think you could get something from the drugstore that is comparable, if not better, like the Milani, where these are color fetish or nude fetish lipsticks. I think you could find a shade pretty close to this within that range. The Maybelline Ultimates, also you could definitely find a dupe within there. I think I might swatch some and see if I have a dupe. I probably do, because this isn't like a super unique shade, but it's a very pretty kind of 90s lip, which I like. And if you were gonna go for the ABH ones, I don't think you would be disappointed in them. And also, speaking of some brown lipstick, I love brown lipstick. The NYX Shine Louds. These have been like out of stock forever, and I finally got my hands on one. And it was the one shade that I did want, which where is it at? It's written on here. Hello. Boundary Pusher. And it's a beautiful 90s brown kind of lip. Not too dissimilar from that ABH lipstick. But yeah, it's a liquid lipstick. It's very reminiscent of the old school ones from like CoverGirl, L'Oreal that have the balm on the end. But these are much more comfortable. It doesn't get as crunchy, bunchy feeling or flaky like those would. And it is a really, really pretty color. I actually love this shade a lot and wear it pretty often. And it has a really nice lip gloss on the end. And the lip gloss does actually stay on really well. And these are transfer proof. You gotta really kind of put it through the paces for it to start to wear off. I think like after a really, really heavy meal, they might, or they do, but the wear time on these is great. As long as you go in with that gloss afterwards, they are really comfortable. Without the gloss, it's pretty dry. You know, it's definitely a hardcore matte lipstick, but pairing it with the gloss it comes with, they create magic together. I've tried putting other glosses over top in lipsticks. It didn't work. It started to peel off and get weird. There's something about the two of these together that they work like magic, but when you try to use a different gloss, it just doesn't work. I don't know. There's some definite witchcraft going on here, and it's pretty good. And they have some beautiful shades and some really fun shades. I really am partial to this kind of color, you know, the brown lippy. It's my thing. All right, and that is all for makeup. Yeah, it's not too terribly much. The next edition might be a little bit longer. Let's move on to some hair. I have two hair things I do want to talk about. First is this DP Hue Color Fresh Dry Texture Spray. This is a really, really texturizing spray. Like if you have very fine hair, shorter hair, you just need a lot of texture, this is the one to go for. It has a pretty strong scent to it, but it's a nice scent. It's a little bit masculine. It's not super floral or anything like that. It just smells like luxury hair care. And this is also a heat and UV color protectant for color treated hair, which is really nice. I have very color treated hair. This texturizes, refreshes, gives long lasting hold, helps prevent hair color from fading and dulling. I don't know really about it doing anything for the hair color necessarily, but it definitely adds amazing texture. It does kind of refresh your hair, not to the extent like a dry shampoo would, but it does still kind of do that. And it will kind of help your hairstyle last. It gives you a little more longevity out of that hair washing though. And it does have some nice hold to it as well. Like it's not as hardcore, or whereas like the Kristen S one's kind of light and soft and gives you that little bit of texture. It's just, it's a light, it's just a really nice kind of breezy texture spray. This one is much more, has much more hold to it, but it's not where you can't brush it out either. It's very texturizing. I'm almost empty. I've used the poop out of this, especially on days when my hair is curly or I've curled it, and I just do a little bit through it and kind of floof it up, and it just gives me wonderful volume to my hair and just movement and body, which I really, really enjoy. And it is much stronger than the Kristen S texture spray, but it's not overly too much. I've used some texture sprays that I can't even get a brush through my hair afterwards. They're just way too strong. This one is a really nice, stronger one that works well for me. I've enjoyed it. I think people with shorter hair would really like this one. And thin hair, it definitely gives your hair a thickened feel, and you can tease it and it'll kind of hold the tease. You'll kind of have a little bit of hold there. It's really good. I've enjoyed using this. And lastly is the IGK hair color box dye that they put out about 3 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. And I used it they sent me the silver one to do my little front bits with, and I loved it. It was such a wonderful, easy experience to use. It was such an easy product to use. It felt like a very professional kit. It felt like you went to a beauty supplier, bought the items, and mixed it up yourself. It didn't feel like a box dye. You got a generous amount of product. It was all around just a good experience. The gloves that come with it were nice. It come with like kind of extras that you don't usually get in a box dye. The formula was beautiful. My hair didn't feel dry or anything like that after I used it. It felt very shiny, pretty, healthy. I'll insert in the eye my review and trying it out for the first time, like my first impressions. My only downside is that the color doesn't last super long. Like, it faded fairly quickly, but that is kind of par for the course with silver hair dyes. They just don't stay. They fade very fast, and you have to constantly be on top of them, toning them and all that to keep it around. But the tone of this one, the silver, was beautiful. It wasn't too blue. It didn't pull too green or too purple. It was the perfect silver hair dye, and it did really, really nicely over my blonde bits here. And also cooled down my roots and kind of just made everything look really nice. And I enjoyed it. The only other downside I think is they don't give you enough conditioner. But it was a really good experience. You didn't feel like you just went to Walgreens and bought some Revlon box dye. It felt like you were doing something nice for your hair. It definitely had an elevated feel. I think the ingredients are really nice. And yeah, my hair felt great after I used it. And I would definitely be into purchasing the silver one and trying out some other shades. I'd like to get their darker brown one for the rest of my hair. They're really nice. The price point is quite a bit higher than your typical box dye, as in, like, most box dyes range from like $5 to $10. The IGK is about $20, $25, and you can get it at Ulta. So, you know, buying 2 boxes, which is what I would need, except 2 different hair colors, be $50. So it's kind of a but you are paying for a nice experience. And I think they were very thoughtful in creating this box dye system, and the shades are beautiful. They have some really pretty shades within the range, and I was impressed. I enjoyed it. I am no stranger to box dye and DIY hair, and that was definitely one of the better experiences I've had with a hair color, especially with a silver hair color that you can just buy as a non-cosmetologist. Silver dye is a thing. It is a struggle. So I've kind of given up on my ambitions of having purely silver stripes in the front of my hair, because, girl, it's too much work. It's so much bleaching and so much dyeing all the time. Because you definitely need pre-lightened hair for the silver one to do anything. Like, on the parts of my hair that were darker or not pre-lightened, it really didn't do a whole lot. But I'm about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months out from dyeing my hair, and I do think it looked really nice. But again, it did fade fairly quickly, but not the worst. It's definitely not the worst I've had. I've had some fade in like 1 wash. This one did hang out for a couple of weeks. So it's definitely better. But yeah, I think that is all that I wanted to update you guys on today. And I'm going to try to film these more regularly, because I have like freaking huge list here. I just didn't want to overwhelm you with a ton of products. But yeah, let me know down below if you've used any of these items and how you feel about them. And if you have any questions. I also have reviews of most of these things, or first impressions. That's why we're here kind of updating, and you know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay spooky. Bye now.